What is go? Excuse me. What's up, y'all? It's your boy Alice saying the place to be. You are now rocking with LU Bugging live on YouTube, live on Twitch. What's going on, y'all? Um, Follow LU Bugging on Twitter or X, formerly Twitter, and on Instagram at LU Bugging. You see the ticker at the bottom. Let's get right into it, y'all. Let's get right into it. I got a great show lined up for y'all today. So let's go ahead and kick it off with Joey B, Nick the Quick, and Joey Burr getting paid. They got money this week, y'all. Nick's contract is a 5-year, $170 million with $122.5 guaranteed money. 49ers got this deal done on Wednesday, the first day of practice, and they need to make sure that they got their best defender, the defending defensive player of the year, the top pass rusher, had to make sure he was in the building. The defense looks a lot different when he don't play, and they got the best chance to be the best defense in the league. They got a great chance of being the best defense in the league as long as they stay healthy. All of their defensive pieces are fairly young, considering they could have a top 5 defense for the foreseeable future. Nick Bosa is the youngest Bosa brother. He's only 25. Javon Hargrave just came over from the Eagles. He's 30. Fred Warner is 26. Greenlaw is 26. Charvarius Ward is 27. Their safety Hufanga is 23. This defense and the pass rush is fairly young. They could be terrorizing and interesting to watch for the next few years. So I'm glad they came to an agreement with Nick Bosa, and he don't have to do the holdout, and he's ready to play. Also, Joe Burrow. He became the 4th quarterback this offseason to become the highest paid player in the NFL history. He got a 5-year, $275 million contract with $219 million guaranteed. Again, like the Nick Bosa deal, and I said earlier this week, this deal had to get done. He's coming off of a quad injury, something with his leg at the first training camp practice. It wouldn't behoove them for him to go out there and, they miss out on that, that number 1 quarterback. I was surprised it wasn't done immediately after Herbert's, honestly. Joey's a top 5 quarterback at worst, and some people have him number 1. I don't know why, but, they have him as number 1 quarterback in the league. It's a good problem to have for teams to have to pay their franchise quarterback. That means, you found the guy. That's the guy that you want to lead your team. And they have him, and they paid him. So that's a good thing. Now, again, that 3 wide receivers, they should go ahead and rotate around. If they want to keep the core together, they should go ahead and – because that wide receiver market is really flexible. It's not as flexible as that quarterback market is. It's not as highly paid as that quarterback market is as well. So they can go ahead and flex around that if they want to keep, that core of Chase, Higgins, and Boyd together. If I had to make a prediction, I think Boyd is out after this season. I think this is Boyd's last season. He becomes a free agent this summer. And I think he's going to go ahead and take his talent somewhere where he can be a number 1, number 2 receiver in the league. I think somebody's going to pay high money for him to be that number 1. And he got a great chance of doing that. So, go ahead. Go ahead and do that. I ain't mad at it. Speaking of wide receivers and being that number 1 guy, Bucks was given a timeline to get number 1 wide receiver Mike Evans a deal. That timeline came and went. Well, they said they wasn't doing it, basically. They didn't agree to the timeline. Mike Evans only been a franchise guy for last 9 years, and only had 1,000-yard seasons all 9 years. One of the most consistent wide receivers in the league history. Like I said, first 9 years, all 1,000 yards, no matter who was throwing him the football. Whether it was Johnny Manziel at Texas A&M, whether it was, Jameis Winston come in as a number 1 pick. He had the GOAT for the last couple of years. He's been very low profile. You don't hear about him in the news. You don't hear about him embarrassing your franchise. So business mind, for business acumen, this is a guy you want to keep around. He's not going to embarrass your franchise. He's not going to have your franchise looking stupid. He's not a diva on the field. So I don't understand why he's not getting paid. I hope it's not something to do with his age, because he's still got a lot left in the tank. He could definitely still be a number one wide receiver. And like I said, he's only put up 1,000 yards every year he's been in the league. So that deal has to get done. All right, y'all. Football was this week. Our very first kickoff football this year. Chiefs Thursday night. Chiefs played the Lions. Chiefs dropped the banner. Lions got the dub. It was a good game for Jared Goff. It was a very solid game for Jared Goff. He threw first half touchdown. He threw 253 yards on 62, let's call it 63% passing. The offensive line did a hell of a job. They was mauling all night. Penei Sewell did a great job on runs. I think Penei Sewell is one of the best young tackles in the league. So I think he's going to have a coming out party, because people are going to be paying more attention to Detroit. So I think Penei Sewell is going to be a name that people, start mentioning a lot more. They only allowed one sack all game, and their running backs killed. David Montgomery had 21 carries for 74 yards and a touchdown. And the rookie running back only had 7 carries, but he ran for 42 yards, 6 yards a clip. So as the year goes on, he caught a couple passes out the backfield. As the year goes on, I definitely see his touches going up. And David Montgomery is coming down. He's a first-round rookie running back, so they definitely going to try to see if they can get him more involved in the run game. And like I said, he's catching out the backfield as well, so you could definitely use him on the field. Amon-Ra St. Brown scored the very first touchdown this season. He went on to have 6 catches for 71 yards to go with that touchdown. Rookie Sam Laporta caught 5 passes for 39 yards. I think Detroit definitely been killing it in the draft the last few years, if y'all haven't been watching. Like I said, you got the rookie running back, Jahmyr Gibbs. You got Sam Laporta came out the draft. Amon-Ra St. Brown came out in the draft. I don't think that was the last 3 years, but he was drafted to them. So they definitely been killing the last few years. The rookie last year, rookie Aiden Hutchinson, the number 2 pick of the draft. He had a great game. He didn't get any sacks, but he definitely moved Pat Mahomes off his spot a lot. Pat Mahomes had on his skates all night. Not a rookie, but C.J. Gardner-Johnson came over from the Eagles. He played the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, and he led the league in interceptions last year. This game, he had a very great game. He didn't have any interceptions, but he played a great game. He brings the attitude that you need on your defense. He's definitely one of them type of leaders. Rookie defensive back Brian Branch, like I said, they had a great draft. He scored a touchdown off of Pat Mahomes' interception. They get a rush, but they're gonna need to capitalize off of this win next week. They need to continue to build momentum for the season. It don't do you any favors to play a great game but drop a dud. As it comes up. So they definitely, Dan Campbell is gonna. I got him winning the Coach of the Year this year. He's gonna need to get the team ready to not have a letdown game. Speaking of coach, I got to give a huge credit to defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn. He, made defensive adjustments in that second half to Pat Mahomes, and Pat Mahomes was pretty much limited that second half with what he compared to the first half. And on the Chiefs side of that ledger of that game, on the Chiefs side of that ledger, this is Pat Mahomes' very first opening week loss. Very first one. He's 5-1 in the opening days. Also, the first opening week interception for Pat. Normally plays pretty clean in September, October. Don't really throw that many interceptions all year, but definitely September and October, he stays pretty clean. First time also, he didn't throw 3 touchdowns on the opening weekend. So Shout out to Mike Tirico. He does a great job on the broadcast. If I'm listening to the sound, sometimes I don't. Most times I don't, honestly. But, Tirico does a great job. But he came under fire this week for saying, this week for Detroit, it was an asterisk in this win. There's no asterisk. You play to win the game, and they went out there. They had their own game plan. Detroit will Kansas City was without Travis Kelce. Yeah, Kansas City was without Chris Jones. But they've been without Chris Jones all summer. Travis Kelce got injured on the very last day of practice for this week. He was pleading to go from reports. I've heard that he was, pleading to go this week. And they said, no, we'll go ahead and hold you out one more week. But again, I don't agree with that one being an asterisk. Like I said, it's tough to change your game plan on the last practice of the year, especially when your number one target goes down. But, they was without Chris Jones all summer, and that defensive line got pushed around all night. Besides a few good stops here and there, the Lions pretty much outmuscled them all night. Yeah, they stopped the 4th and 2 conversion on a quick pass, quick slant. They knocked the ball down, got the ball back to Pat Mahomes for the last drive. But on that last drive, his receivers definitely didn't bring their A game. It was a chance for them to actually step up and make it look like they could lead this team without Kelce, without Hartman, who left last year, Juju left last year, Tyreek Hill left. Well, I'm sorry. Mecole Hardman and Juju left this summer. Hill left last year. And, they're supposed to step up. Watson's the deep threat, didn't really step up, especially in that second half. What's the dude's name? Sky Moore, the second-year player. He was supposed to step up in this game and prove that, he could fill that Mecole Hardman role. He didn't step up. Kadarius Toney became the number one target. Played horrible. I'm not going to pile on. Not quite sure y'all heard all week. Kadarius Toney didn't bring his A game, didn't play good at all. Like I said, he acted like it was the first day on earth with hands. I don't know why he didn't bring his hands. He was trying to catch everything with his chest, and it was just going right through his arms. He needs to get work on that judge machines, get work on your hand strength. He had one catch for 1 yard. But Mahomes needed someone to step up and prove that this receiving core was much more than Kelce and Reed. The young guys didn't step up on Thursday, especially in that second half. Like I said, Aaron Glenn, give him, hats off to Aaron Glenn. He definitely, did his thing on defense and adjusting. But that second half, his receivers just did not play. Mahomes played a great game, honestly. I'm just not trying to be a Mahomes super fan, but he played a masterful game, But Superman can't always deliver and save Lois Lane. Not every game. He did have 226 yards, 2 touchdowns, and that pick six. That pick six bounced right off of Kadarius Toney's hands. You can't put a pass more perfect than that pass he put to Kadarius Toney. Like I said, it just bounced off his hands and went right to a defender. Great play by Burns, but I'm sorry, by Brian Branch, excuse me. Not Burns, by Brian Branch. Great play, but the ball went right through his hands. His best receiver on the night was Isaiah Pacheco, caught 4 passes for 31 yards. MVS had 2 catches for 47 yards, but I don't know if it was the spare of the moment, switching up the game plan, but the Chiefs just looked like they were saying, Pat Gall, that, we're going to ride your cake to the win. And when he couldn't get it done, it just wasn't enough. The guys just did not step up. The defense, like I said, was pushed around all night. But I'm going to give a shout-out to Trent McDuffie. He played well on that side of the ball. And Kansas City did get the only sack of the game. I think that came late. Mike Danner had that sack. That's the only sack of the game for either team. So definitely the Chiefs, they're going to keep their young core. Kelsey should be back. Like I said, he was lobbying to play this week, and they said, nah, they didn't get it done. So I think he actually gets the chance to play this week. I don't know if they're going to go with the young guys again, or if they're going to be looking to bring somebody in. Jarvis Landry is still available. He's a little older veteran receiver, but he got great hands. He can catch. He's put up 1,000 yards with multiple quarterbacks. I'm quite sure Pat Mahomes could be one of those quarterbacks if he's ready to go. They bring in Jarvis Landry this week. Might make a trade for somebody. I know they were in talks to get DeAndre Hopkins before he signed with the Titans. So they knew that this was a potential issue with, if something were to happen to Kelsey long term. So I'm quite sure they got options. They're looking for who they can bring in. Like I said, I'm looking at Jarvis Landry to see if he can come in and help them out. You see if any other available free agents can come through and help. But, I think they bounced back from this game, especially being that they got a couple more days. And like I said, they should be getting Kelsey back. They can go ahead and bounce back. But it just was not a good showing for them on Thursday night. Let's see what wide receivers. They got Kenny Golladay that can potentially go. They got Jarvis Landry, who I mentioned. Yeah, they do reunion with Sammy Watkins. I said they got a couple of options out there to help out this wide receiver core because they definitely need it. Let's get into college football real quick. College football coming back. Coach Prime is taking on Nebraska, his opening game. And this game should be a close one. The last one was close to this one right here. Like I said, he's trying to reestablish that culture in Boulder, Colorado. So, this game should be close. I look for Shedeur to play and Hunter to play pretty well again. I don't think this is the game where they need to put Hunter on corner and wide receiver. I think he picks a side this week just to give him a little bit more rest. In Colorado, again, they playing in Colorado, and anything about that state, it's hard to breathe there. So I think them home games, he's gonna definitely pick one side or the other to play. But these young boys, they can run all day. Maryland plays Charlotte tonight. The home team. They play Charlotte at home. Look for Roman Hemby to I'm gonna do some scout work on Roman Hemby. He should be a second, third round pick this draft coming up. Let's see if he raises his stock. Second through the fourth round pick. Let's see if he raises his stock and put him somewhere, solidify that up. My three Heisman leading quarterbacks, they play today. Like I said, Shedeur is playing against Nebraska at 12 o'clock. Caleb playing against Stanford at 7. That game starts at 7. And Michael Penix Jr. is playing against Tulsa. So I'm definitely going to be watching that game, looking at these three Heisman leading quarterbacks to see if any of them separate themselves this week. It's still early in the season, technically, even though it's not any preseason game. These are kind of warm-up games for the, conference play games anyway. There's two top 25 matchups this week. 20th ranked Ole Miss is playing against Tulane. Number 11 Texas is playing against number 3 Alabama. I'm an SEC fan, so I'm gonna go with both of these SEC teams to win. Ole Miss got Michael Trigg, should be one of the top tight ends coming out in this draft. Again, probably a second round pick, maybe third, for him, or probably third round, maybe second, if he can, show out and show improve. And Alabama always got a first round defender on that team. That defense is always stacked. This year is no doubt in my mind that is as well. Kool-Aid probably going to be the first corner taken in the first round. Kool-Aid McKinstry is definitely one of those lockdown corners that everybody wants and tries to get. So Kool-Aid could definitely be the first corner taken in this draft. Yeah. And before we get out of here, like I said, I'll try to keep these shows about 30 minutes, 30 to 40 minutes, 30, 35, maybe 40 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and make my picks for this week. All right, first off, let's go ahead and get the locks out the way. The Eagles is, let me make this full screen. Do that. The Eagles going to go ahead and crash that Boston Tea Party that they having for Tom Brady. They're retiring Tom Brady's jersey today. Eagles going to go ahead and crash that Boston Tea Party. I got them winning by at least double digits. The Ravens going to go ahead and harass that young boy, C.J. Stroud. I think C.J. Stroud can't get comfortable at all. And, that's going to be a tough game for him. I got the Jaguars up. Well, not really upsetting, but I got the Jaguars definitely beating the Colts with their young rookie. Again, I think this game is going to be by double digits as well. So Jaguars definitely go ahead and win that one. All right, y'all. Upset alert. Not saying that these teams are going to win. Not saying these teams are going to win. I'm just saying that these teams have a great chance for an upset, y'all. First one, Pittsburgh Steelers. Yes, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Potential gold rush led by T.J. Watt. If you look over the last two opening games, the Steelers opened up as underdogs against the Bills after the Bills played the Chiefs tough. I remember that playoff loss, right? Played the Chiefs tough. Everybody was like, yo, it's the Broncos' year. I'm sorry, it's Buffalo's year. The Bills can definitely win it. They can win the Super Bowl. They opened up with the Steelers in the first game, and they lost. 23-16. Next year, the Bengals were just in the Super Bowl, right? They were just in the Super Bowl. Again, thought to be serious contenders, man. And they got there last year. They could definitely win it this year. They lost to the Steelers 23-20 in the opening week. 49ers was in the NFC Championship game for the 3 straight years. They opened up against T.J. Watt and the Steelers, so, just be on the lookout for that. The Browns. They played Joe Burrow 5 times in his career. They won all but one of them. For the Battle of Ohio, they beat Joe Burrow 4 times. Joe Burrow's only beaten them once. Now, granted, that one time came with Deshaun Watson. But if Deshaun Watson is better this year, as he should be after, he didn't play for a year and a half, I could definitely see them making a good game out of this. Like I said, the Steelers last year, Joe Burrow returned from an injury that held him out of all training camp last year. And he came back and he played pretty much his worst game of the year. So he got another injury that held him out all training camp. Could have played his worst game of the year. Not saying they're going to lose, but it's a chance. And lastly, not really an upset, but this division is kind of young. So, the division matchup with the young Panthers and the young Atlanta Falcons, both teams being led by a rookie quarterback and a second-year quarterback. They both have fairly young backfield. The Falcons have rookie Bijan and second-year Algier. And the Panthers, Miles Sanders, not that young, but they got third-year Chuba Hubbard as well. So the defenses are all fairly young. I can see the Panthers sticking in there with the Falcons and would not be shocked if they pulled off this mild upset. All right, y'all. For the rest of these picks, the Vikings will beat the Buccaneers. The Cardinals and the Commanders will play a very close game, but they trying to get Caleb, so I can see the Commanders winning this game in the second half, pulling away. The Saints will be partying in NOLA after they beat the Titans. I'm taking the Raiders over the Broncos this week. I don't know why, but just taking them over the Broncos this week. The Seahawks will beat the Rams. The Dolphins will weather the storm and beat the Chargers. The Bears will win against the Packers. In the nightcap, the Cowboys going to the Big Apple and eat. They will beat the New York Giants. But the Jets go ahead and beat Buffalo as the only New York team to win this 9/11 weekend. So, that's how I got this week shaking out, y'all. Again, follow Al You Bugging on Twitter and Instagram, and also I got the Twitch channel going. So follow us on there. Al You Bugging at Al_you_bugging. All right, y'all. Be blessed. Be productive. Be more. We love you. I'm out of here.